Good morning, dear students. Myself Bijay Misra, and I am here to teach you physics. So today we are going to start physics of class 9th. In class 9 physics, you are going to study 5 chapters. The chapters are as follows. First chapter is motion. Second chapter is force and laws of motion. Third chapter is work, energy and power. Fourth chapter is gravitation, and the last chapter is sound. So these are the 5 chapters which we will study in this session in physics. So today we are going to start with the first chapter, motion. So my dear students, take out your copy and pen and start writing the notes of this chapter. So the first chapter is motion. So here we are going to write down the topics which we will study in detail in this chapter. So you write down the topics. The first topic is motion, rest, physical quantity. These are of 2 types: scalar quantity vector quantity, distance, displacement, speed, velocity, acceleration, retardation, it is also known as negative acceleration. Negative acceleration. Now the next topic is equations of uniformly accelerated motion. So here we are going to derive 3 equations. First equation of motion will be V equals to U plus AT. Second equation of motion will be S equals to ut plus half at square. Third equation of motion is v square equals to u square plus 2as. Now these equations we will derive in graphical method. So equations of motion by graphical method, and the last we can write uniform circular motion. You can write one more topic, that is uniform motion, non-uniform motion, non-uniform motion. So these are some topics which we are going to study in detail in this chapter motion. So first of all, you write down all the topics, and then we are going to start our first topic, that is motion. So we are starting with our first topic, motion. Now I am asking one question to you students. Can you define or can you tell me the meaning of motion? See, in simple means we can tell that motion means movement of a body or movement of an object. But we are going to define motion in correct way. So write the definition. A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position continuously with respect to a fixed surrounding with the passage of time. So I have defined the motion in a way that if it changes its position continuously, that means if a body is changing its position continuously with respect to That means with respect to a surrounding, if a body changes its position continuously and time is also passing, that means that body is in the state of motion. For example, say this is a way a person is standing over here, and this is his position A. This is his position A. Suppose he is standing here. One house is there and one tree is there. So this is the person who is standing at position A, and in the surrounding one house and one tree is there. Now at position A, time comma t equals to 0 second. That means now he is in the state of rest. He is not moving. He is not changing its position. Now he starts changing its position. He starts changing its position as the time is passing. So now after changing its position continuously as the time is passing, with respect to its surrounding, the boy reaches to position B at time t equals to 10 seconds. So see, here t equals to 0 second. Now when the boy changes his position, then time is also increasing. 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, 5 second, 6 second. That means time is also passing, time is also changing, time is also passing, and the boy is also changing his position. Now he reached at point B at time t equals to 10 seconds. Now you can clearly see that, see, this boy at position A is very closer to this house and the tree. Now if you will see that this boy at position B is very far away from this house and the tree, that means this boy is in the state of motion. So it is clear that if a body is changing its position with respect to a fixed surrounding with the passage of time, then that body is in the state of motion. Clear? Now we are going to define rest. What is the meaning of rest? Now write the definition first. A body is said to be in rest if it do not changes its position with respect to its surrounding with the passage of time. So we have defined the term rest. Rest means a body is in the state of rest. That means it is not changing its position. It is not changing its position with respect to its surrounding. as the time is passing. For example, as this green board is visible, so when I started the class, then also this green board was there. Now after 10 minutes also, this green board, after passing 10 minutes, this green board is in its same position. That means this body or this green board is not changing its position. And if this board is not changing its position with the passage of time, that means this green board is in the state of rest. Understood? Now write physical quantity. Physical quantity. Physical quantity. See, physical quantity means a physical quantity. A physical quantity is a quantity that can be measured. That means, see, in physics, physical quantity is one of the most important thing. A physical quantity is a quantity that can be measured. That means everything which is measurable is a physical quantity. For example, length. Suppose I am explaining after some time. Length, then mass, time, temperature, current. So these are some physical quantities which can be measured. That's why these are known as physical quantities. It is expressed in the combination of magnitude and unit. That means when you will denote a physical quantity, when you will define a physical quantity, then a physical quantity should have a magnitude with unit. A magnitude with unit. Now magnitude means value. For example, see, length is a physical quantity. Now suppose I brought a scale, 15 centimeter scale, and I measured the length of this green board from there to there, from there to here. Now after measuring the length of this green board, because it is of 80 centimeter. Now 80 is magnitude and centimeter is unit. Centimeter is unit. And what we are measuring? We are measuring length. 80 is magnitude and centimeter is unit. Now next, mass. I went to market and I brought 5 kg of potato. See, the mass of potato is 5 kg. That means 5 is its magnitude and kg is its unit. So this physical quantity is mass. Now time. As you know, when you are going for your final exam is of 3 hours. So 3 is magnitude and hour is unit. So now we have measured the physical quantity time. Now temperature. See, today 13th April, the temperature of our road is 37 degrees Celsius. That means 37 is magnitude and degrees Celsius is unit. So the physical quantity is temperature. Correct? See, this room consists of fans and tubelights. So I told the student that we want to measure the value of current which is flowing in the wire. So I brought a ammeter. See, ammeter is a device through which we can measure electric current. So with the help of this device ammeter, we have measured the value of current, and the current is 100 ampere. So see, 100 is magnitude and ampere is what? Its unit. That means we have measured what? Current. So a physical quantity is a quantity that can be measured. So here we are measuring different types of things. We are measuring length, mass, time, temperature, current. And this physical quantity is always expressed in the terms of magnitude and unit. For length, suppose it is 80 centimeter, 80 is magnitude and its unit is centimeter. So these physical quantities are of two types. Now write down two types. It is of two types. Number one, scalar quantity. Number two, vector quantity. So the physical quantities are of two types. The first one is scalar quantity and the second one is vector quantity. So now we are going to define what is scalar quantity. So now write the heading scalar quantity. Scalar quantity write those physical quantities which have only magnitude, but no specified direction is called as scalar quantity. That means Scalar quantity is that physical quantity which have only magnitude, but no direction. It has only magnitude but no direction. Then it is a scalar quantity. For example, distance, speed. These are some scalar quantities which have only magnitude, only value, but no direction. That means this is a scalar quantity. Understood? Now write vector quantity. The second one is vector quantity. Write the definition: those physical quantities which have both magnitude as well as direction is called a vector quantity. That means those physical quantities which have both magnitude as well as direction are called as vector quantity. That means vector quantity has magnitude as well as direction. Example is displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, and many more. So scalar quantities are those quantities which have only magnitude but no specified direction. But vector quantities are those physical quantities which have both magnitude as well as direction. Both magnitude as well as direction. That is known as vector quantity. Now we are going to define distance. So we are going to define the term distance. Now can you tell me what is the meaning of distance? Distance. Tell me what is the meaning of distance? Now we will write or we will define distance. The distance traveled by a body is the actual path covered by a body from one point to another. From one point to another. That means the distance traveled by a body is the actual path covered by a body from one point to another. That means, for example, I am taking example. Say, suppose this is one point or this is one position from where a person starts moving. He reaches a point B, and the distance from point A to point B is 5 meters. Now, from point B, he again moves, he changes his direction, he again moves and reaches point C. And the distance from point B to point C is 3 meters. So, the distance traveled or the path traveled by the body is from A to C is this 5 and this 3. That means 5 plus 3 equals to 8 meters. So we will write distance equals to how much? AB plus BC. AB plus BC equals to how much? 5 plus 3. 5 plus 3 equals to 8 meters. So that means this body has covered a distance of 8 meters from point A to point C. Understood? So this path covered by a body, is known as distance. So the distance is 8 centimeters. Alright, next point. SI unit of distance is meter. This meter. You can write small. See, the meaning of SI is S means standard, I means international. That means we are going to write the units for every physical quantity, and every physical quantity has a unit which is standardly international. That means that is acceptable to the whole world. If you will go to other countries and you will take the distance in meter, so this will be acceptable. So the SI means standard international unit of distance is meter. That means every time when we will solve some numericals, you have to take the unit as meter. It is denoted by S. It is denoted by S. Distance in short is denoted by S. It is a scalar quantity. Why it is a scalar quantity? It is a scalar quantity because it has only magnitude but no specified direction. See, this 8 meter is magnitude, but in which direction this body is moving, that is not specified. Suppose we want to find out the direction of this body. See, we are taking east, this is west, this is north, this is south. So this body is moving in this direction. So this is northeast. That means when the body started moving from point A, then the direction is northeast. Then at point B, it has changed its direction. So from point B, the direction is, see, direction is towards south. That means at point A it is moving in the direction of northwest. Now from point B it is moving in the direction of south. That means 2 times it has changed its direction. So that means it has not particular direction, it has not fixed direction. That means it has only magnitude but no fixed direction. That means this quantity is called scalar quantity. That means distance is a scalar quantity. Right, last point. It can never be 0. It can never be 0. That means if a body is traveling from one point to another, there must be some distance. There must be some distance. If a body is moving from one place to another, then it must cover some distance. The distance must not be 0. It will never be 0. Understood? So now we are going to define the other term related to distance is displacement. Now write the heading, note down this and write the heading displacement. Right, displacement. Displacement. Now, can you define what is the meaning of displacement? Tell me. See. Now write down the definition. When a body is moving from one point to another, then the shortest straight line, distance between initial position means starting position, initial position and the final position along along with direction is called displacement. So the meaning of displacement is, suppose a body is moving from one point to another. Then the shortest straight line distance, between initial position and the final position. The shortest straight line distance between the initial position and the final position along with direction is known as displacement. Now I will explain with an example. See, example is, see, for distance I have given example that a body is at point A, then it starts moving and reaches to point B and covers a distance of how much? 5 meter, then comes at point C and covers a distance of 3 meter. So if you will ask me how much this body has covered a distance from point A to point C, then I will tell you that the distance traveled by a body from point A to point C is 5 plus 3 equals to 8 meter. But now we are defining displacement. So see, displacement is, see, this is the initial position. This is the initial position. Initial position is at point A, and the final position is at point C. So we have to draw a straight line. See, the shortest straight line. So we have to draw a straight line. Straight line. This is the shortest straight line. Shortest straight line distance between initial position to the final position along with direction is known as displacement. So here it is suppose 4 meter. So displacement AC equals to how much? Equals to 4 meter. Displacement AC equals to 4 meter. Now we will see in which direction it is moving. So see, east, west, north, south. It is moving in the direction of east. So we will write 4 meter towards east. So this 4 meter is magnitude, and this towards east is direction. So that means displacement has both magnitude as well as direction, and those quantities which has both magnitude as well as direction, that means that quantities are vector quantities. That means displacement is a vector quantity. So we will write some terms. First point, it is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity as it has both magnitude as well as direction. Second point, it is denoted. It is denoted by small s. Third point, SI unit is, see, we are measuring length. So for length is meter. Small meter. And the last point, displacement can be 0. Displacement can be 0. See, there we have write a distance, that distance cannot be 0, but here displacement can be 0. See how displacement can be 0, I will show. Suppose I am taking, suppose this is position A and a body is moving in a circular path and coming back to position A, and its radius is r. So distance is how much? Distance equals to circumference of the circle, and the circumference of the circle is how much? 2 pi r. So the distance traveled is 2 pi r. But displacement from A to A. A to A means it has started from a starting point. Initial position is A and the final position is also A. Initial position is also A and the final position is also A. And the shortest distance between A and A is how much? Nothing, 0. So the displacement from A to A is 0. So that means displacement can be 0 but distance cannot be 0. So my dear students, this is the first lecture of first chapter motion. You just note down all the points in your copy and revise 2-3 times. Then only you will get all the concepts which we have discussed, such as motion, first motion, then rest, then physical quantity, then scalar quantity, vector quantity, distance, displacement. Understood? So if you will work hard, then only you will get, then you will understand the things which we are discussing in this chapter. So for today it is this much. So tomorrow will be your next class. Thank you very much.